Check, check, check one, check. Did you say ready? All right, good evening. Welcome to City Hall Auditorium. I am your mayor, Sean Reardon. I want to thank you all for braving the elements tonight to be here. It's fitting that we have a weather situation outside during the city's presentation of the snow plan. So we're here to go through the snow plan tonight, policies, operations, information session. So I'm going to bring up Acting DPS Director Jamie Tuccolo, and we'll go through the presentation, and if you have any questions afterwards, we'll take them. I think what's great about this, I want to thank my friends up at NCM Hub, PortMedia, for broadcasting this tonight. I think we're just taping it, so we're going to record it, and then we're going to have this up on the website as soon as we can, and it's just going to be a great reference going forward as we get into the snow and ice season. So thank you again, NCM Hub. And without further ado, Acting DPS Director Jamie Tuccolo.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor Reardon. So again, this is the mayor had asked me a couple of weeks ago to come up and show the public on basically operations, what we do, what it entails, so everybody can kind of get an idea. I mean, rolling into every winter, the first 2 or 3 storms, you know, we all have to get used to it. So this is, I believe this would be the best way of people to see and what to expect from DPS. What are the goals? So basically the goals are to make the streets passable as fast as we possibly can and as safe as we possibly can. It does get stressful for you know, homeowners, business owners, and DPS personnel. I just hope that moving forward, we can all work together and try. Nobody really wants the snow. Nobody really enjoys plowing snow, but we all have to do it. We're here for a reason. We are always trying to communicate with the residents of Newburyport, business owners of Newburyport, and I'll get into that further down on the slides. So what happens during a snow emergency? So we inform the general public 6 hours prior to a parking ban. So 6 hours before the parking ban hits or goes into effect, the blue lights around the city go on. That at that particular time when the blue lights go on, the municipal lots are open for all the residents. Why do we have a ban? It allows us to basically clean curb to curb, widen the streets, because everybody knows the more snow we get, the shorter the streets, the harder it is to maneuver the streets. I mean, we have some tight streets as it is, so we have to keep them as wide open as possible. The snow ban, the parking ban is one tool that we must use. We don't like to put it on, but the only way that we can actually do it properly is by having a snow ban. Notifications. So again, I just said the blue lights, the city e-alert, DPS reverse notification, water smart system, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And for those residents who do not have technical capabilities, there's the snow phone. The snow phone, I believe if you called that number right now, you'll hear my voice on it, taking off the snow ban last year. Use these tools. They really are helpful. We try to post, I know the mayor posts about it keeps the updates going constantly. When residents want to have a question they might not know, check online before, doing what you're going to do. It's a tool that will benefit everybody involved if they actually use it. Here's the e-alert. That's right on the city's website. You can sign up for the e-alert system, and what that does is every time that there's a notification that needs to go out to the general public, the mayor's office sends it via e-alert. There was one about tonight that went out on the e-alert system. It's a great tool, and I suggest everybody signing up for that if they have the capability of doing so. The Water Smart system, it's basically the same format as the e-alert system, but this is for your water and sewer billing. So the added bonus to this, other than the reverse notification, you can also pay your bills online. You can check your bill online. There's a lot of pros with this particular program. And if you need help navigating through it, feel free to call the DPS office and we will help you. The blue light locations. You'll notice these blue lights throughout the city. The highlighted area is the newest one we just went into put up. When those lights are blinking constantly, the parking ban is in effect. We're trying to put a blue light in every portion of the city, so no matter where you go, you see the blue light. But just for those who are watching and who are new to the area, if you're in an area and you're at home and you don't leave your home and you know that it's snowing outside and you're parked in the street, please know that if you're not on the reverse notification system, if you haven't checked the website and if you haven't left your house, pull your car in the driveway because it's gonna get towed. Again, that it's there for a reason. I get the fact that sometimes people don't leave their homes when there's weather coming, so they're going to say that they didn't see the blue light. But there are multiple tools that we use now that can also help you or guide you during a pending snowstorm. Street parking. This is one of the reasons why we don't allow parking in the streets during the snowstorm. For multiple reasons. Let's start with just a couple of them. So you can see if you follow that right there, so that's our plow markers going around. So now this whole area, if there's a cold snap that comes in after, if you guys remember the winter of 2019, we had that blizzard and then that abundant cold came in right after and everything froze solid. That right there will be troublesome because it's going to be frozen solid, and then the neighbors and everybody who else has to navigate through there after the storm is over will have a hard time because that's literally the driving lane. Residents can park at any designated lot. There's also paid parking at the Tuccolo Street garage. Here are the parking lots that you can park at any time during the snow event. Everything except for the Tuccolo Street is free of charge. You do park at your own risk. But you have this, all of these to choose from. So I would definitely, take advantage of that. Clearing the parking lots. So once the parking ban ends, the snowstorm has moved on, the parking ban ends. What happens? Well, we need to actually now clean the lots in order to prepare for the next snowstorm. According to the city ordinance, you have 12 hours to remove your vehicle after the snow emergency has been declared over. So once that snow emergency, the lights are off, the mayor sends the emergency is over, you have 12 hours from that point to remove your vehicles. For the newer people of the newer residents, we do not plow you out. We plow the parking lot, which means if you can see this here behind the cars, you have to come with your own shovels, get yourself out of the lot, and then once the cars or the vehicles have been removed, we can then go in there and fully clean the lot. But we will not plow personal vehicles out of spots. So the parking ban is not only for vehicles. One of the biggest issues that we run into is other things besides vehicles, sports equipment, trash. These are just as troublesome as vehicles, if not more, because I can't tow these. So please keep in mind that when, I think it was last year, we sent out a reverse notification at the beginning of the snow season. The reverse notification kind of did a little backfire because everybody that received one thought that we were talking about them. All we did was a massive, and we're going to do another one. So I hope everybody watching understands it's just a massive reverse notification stating that if you do have sporting equipment, trash bins, anything, trailers, that when the blue lights go on, they need to be removed. So it's better to remove the sporting equipment before the weather, the pending weather comes in, so you're not in a panic trying to rush around, because anything that does get damaged in the street during a snow emergency, is not going to be the responsibility of the DPS. So here's a snow team. Some of the snow team. Every single person here has a job, a very important job, whether it be the mechanics, the plow routes, the checkers, the city employees. I have three very key employees here tonight, which is without them, the city would have a hard time getting through the snowstorms that we do. And Miss Jennifer Sullivan, Mr. Ron Keefe, and Mr. Michael Bartlett. They all play a pinnacle role in their jobs. So I just wanted everybody to see faces behind the plows, because everybody works extremely hard to try to keep the streets as open as we possibly can. So the equipment that the city has, this is one of 3 wing blades that the city currently has. These particular vehicles concentrate on the mains. They can widen streets relatively quickly. They remove a lot of snow. That's just one of the blades. The other blade sits on the front of that plow, right there. So it's equal in size. You just have a double whammy. Some of the other equipment that we have 8 5-ton trucks, 5 of them with Sanders, 3 wing blades that I just explained, 13 1-ton trucks, 3 of them with Sanders, 2 loaders, 1 plows, 1 load salt, and 1 backhoe with a plow. So that's just some of the equipment. That's not the sidewalk equipment or anything. That's just the equipment that's in the street that the city owns, and then it's basically duplicated with the contractors. So there's 3 steps to the plowing process. So this is step 1, which is the pre-treat process. Anytime that there's a pending snowstorm coming, we all get together and we try to get as close to a 4 to 6 hour window as possible before we start, and then we start laying the salt. The reason why we pre-treat the streets is to prevent packing. Packing is when you drive on snow. You guys ever driving on your driveway? You drive on snow, it packs it down and it doesn't come back up. If you don't pre-treat, then it's almost impossible to remove. So we pre-treat, and then we try to keep up with the salting during the event. So even though the plows are going, we just put it on a low trickle, and as we're moving the snow, the salt is trickling out the back. So this is one of 8 salting routes in the city. As I alluded to earlier, we have 8 sanders, so there's 8 salting routes. Every driver has their own route. So I like to point out that you'll see like the highlighted area right here. That's, we'll say, Route 1, right? That's the first route. You're going to notice some streets here. So Jennifer usually fields a couple of calls saying, hey, listen, I just saw a sander go by my street, but they didn't stop. That's because it's not in their route. The truck drivers have a specific route. That particular route here is covered by, we'll say, Route 2. So if you see a vehicle pass your street, it's not that we're passing your street. It's just on a different route. Step 2 is plowing. So the plowing begins once it's determined that the snow rate is going to be 2 inches or more. So when we're out there trying to treat with salt, if the snow rate has picked up and the foreman on duty for the sanding says, you know what, we got to drop the plow, snow operation begins. The phone calls are made. We all come in, contractors, checkers, everybody comes in, and we go and do we send everybody out. So we handle 20 routes. It's 136.76 if you want to be accurate. Lane miles is plowed. The 2 things that I try to emphasize every year is please stay back from the plows, especially the first couple storms when people are getting used to the snow again. There's no reason to tailgate. You're not going to get there any faster. It is what it is, and please don't ever try to attempt to pass a plow. Happened last year. It's not a good idea. So here are the plowing routes. You can see it highlighted. We start planning. I mean, basically it's the same route every year, but we do. Jennifer, Ron, and myself sit down. We sit down with the mayor. We probably the last week in August we start the planning process of the snow, and by mid-October we're pretty much already have the contract signed by the outside contractors, and plowing routes assigned, salting routes assigned, and we are ready to go. So this is an individual example of a regular snow route. In case you're wondering why there's 20 snow routes and only 8 salting routes, is because we have 8 sanders, and that's it. So the sanding routes are very much larger than a regular plowing route. And yes, we do. And that's when, again, the operations kicks in, right? So if this area, which is Route 5, if this area gets completed, it's not like that driver goes home. That driver will then call base, who's Jennifer, and Jennifer will dispatch whoever it is to a different location to help them out to try to expedite the process. There was a question that was asked a few times, actually, every year, that we get a few calls about speeding, location. My street hasn't been touched in hours. The city of Newburyport has GPS capabilities, and it's in every single vehicle. For those who live in tight areas, I know it seems like these trucks are flying. They're very large vehicles with very large plows on them, with sanders, most of them on the back. They make a lot of noise, but they typically don't drive over 10 miles an hour. And if they do, I have a setting in there that Ron, Jennifer, and myself get alerted that if somebody's going too fast, we instantly just call them. Anybody that calls the DPS saying that there was a vehicle that's speeding, we set up a geofence and I do a report. I can tell you if there's how fast somebody was going at any time. Our system pings every 15 seconds. The other municipalities I've spoken to, theirs ping every 3 minutes. So what that means is every 15 seconds, that's reporting to us. And this is what we basically see. So the green is the vehicles moving. This is just obviously a still shot of our system, but this also has a speed that pops up when you put your mouse on it. It tells you the direction it's going. Tells us if the plow is up or down. all of that. Here's all the vehicles here. This is on Perry Way. The blue means that the truck is idle, kind of like at a standstill. The red means that the truck is off. So we have capabilities of seeing everything at all times. So the drivers, they know what they're doing. They know that they have this in the vehicles. They know that speed is an issue, especially when it comes to plowing, because you can only go so fast with a plow. You can only go so fast. Not saying that people don't go faster, and when they do, we typically get notified within 5 minutes of the speed, because the speed has to be longer than 15 seconds until it contacts us. So if they notice their speed and they drop it before that 15 seconds, then it doesn't report to us. If they're consistently going a certain speed, then it will report to us and we'll handle it internally. Step 3 of the process is the cleanup. So the school sidewalk routes, the crossing guard locations, the ramps, piles on the side of roads. Yes, we know that when you're trying to come to a four-way stop sign, sometimes it looks like there's piles up there. We typically get to everything within 48 hours, sometimes 72 hours of a storm. But that means it's everything. It's done. At 72 hours, unless we have a 2015, after 72 hours, we're pretty much cleaned up. Right after a storm is we go home, we get rest, and then we come back in, and then we start the cleanup process. This is one example of a sidewalk route. This is a school route. You can see the starts, stops. I mean, these are our routes that the operators know very well. And again, if you see why they stop at a certain location, is because that's the route. The route is what it is. But feel free, if you have questions, to always just call us at the barn, and we'll be happy to talk to you. Trash collection. This is a big one. So we, DPS, know that the residents have a certain trash pickup day. All that we try to say is if you're going to put your trash out, please do it on a day that you're home. Because if you put your trash out in the morning and you don't plan on being home till after 5, and there's a snowstorm coming or is hitting us during that time, your trash barrels will probably be gone by the time you get home, because it is what it is. It's just they're on the street. We plow. The plow operators are trying to do their jobs, and sometimes they get hit. Again, this applies when it comes to the blue lights, right? So when the blue lights are on, that goes back to what I was saying before, that it's not just vehicles in the street, right? It's everything, including trash. So here's some really important points. The number one bullet is probably the number one issue that we have, blowing snow into the street. So there is an ordinance on it. It's not allowed. We understand, right? We understand that there are areas that are tight. We understand that you guys just want, or people just want to open their driveways up and get on with their day. But that's where the frustration runs in, right? So when people are just finishing their driveway and pushing into the street, well, here comes a plow and pushing it back into your yard. That's when the frustration level kicks on both ends, because the homeowner is frustrated that they just did their whole driveway and now it's back at the beginning of their driveway. The driver is getting aggravated because he's getting calls from dispatch saying, other people are calling saying the street doesn't look like it got hit. I mean, I've driven down streets that the plows just went on, and it's almost like a Frogger game. I really can't emphasize this enough for the people at home that, work together, work collaboratively, work with your neighbor, and maybe you guys can, which I'll get to in a second. A couple other points. Snowplow operators are doing their jobs. This is what they get paid to do, right? So they're DPS employees. They're told, remove the snow. That's what they're doing. Please don't confront a DPS driver. If you have issues, please call the office, and one of the 4 checkers, one of myself included, will come to your home and discuss whatever issue that you have at that particular time. But please don't stand in front of a plow. Please don't throw things at a plow. These are things that we've run into in the past, and it's troublesome because of what I said earlier on the stress level, right? Everybody's stress is already up from the snow. Let's not add to it. Let's work together and figure it out. Literally call DPW. You'll get Jennifer. Jennifer will dispatch one of the checkers, and we can have a conversation. But please do not confront, stop, throw, or anything at a city driver, please. They're just doing their jobs. The last one is the bullet here is every kid loves to build a fort, right? I mean, we all built snow forts. They're the best. But during a snow event, when plows are going up and down the streets, please don't let them build snow forts near the road, especially when the winds are whipping. Fatigue sets in. If you're gonna have them build a fort, have them build it away from the road, just to be safe. I saw last year, I think 2 or 3 kids building them right where their mailbox is, but that's right on that curb line. It's a very dangerous situation. I just hope everybody just build it off the side until until it's over, and then do what you're gonna do. Sidewalks. The property owners are responsible for removing the sidewalks according to the city ordinance. You have 6 hours after the snow falls, and if it falls overnight, you have until noon the next day. That's really not much I can say about that. So help us help you, right? So here's just an idea. Here's us. Here's you. Maybe you come up with, like I just said, here's your neighbor here. Maybe you guys come up with a middle ground that you can pile your snow here, perhaps on the side of your driveway here, because once you put it here, this truck right here is going to put this back in your driveway. If you put it here, this truck right here is going to put it in your neighbor's driveway. Whereas if you guys collaboratively work together and come up with a mutual, hey, look, let's both put it here, I think that would help the stress level all around. So little things like this, I think, would go a long way. And again, work with your neighbor. Prior to snow events, maybe you guys start talking now. So these are just three issues that could be helpful, or 2 that could be helpful to us, 1 definitely to yourself. If you are able to take care of the catch basin that's in the realm of your home, that just helps everybody out, that if you get a snow event, but then we get that freezing rain behind it, and then it melts, and it has no place to go because it's covered over. Every little bit helps. We try to keep up with everything, but it's difficult to keep up with all of the catch basins in the city. You can help the fire department by helping shovel away around from the hydrants. And then lastly, this is for your own self, your exhaust fans. Make sure, no matter where you are, to always check your exhaust fans. It's one of those things that's kind of out of sight, out of mind, especially when you get a lot of snow, because it's on the side of the house, usually lower. You don't want those covered, that carbon monoxide, all day long. Snow Angel program, if you need help removing snow from the sidewalks, please contact Youth Services. and they can put you on the list for the snow angels to come out and help you remove the snow. So the takeaways from this is please sign up for the e-alerts or the Water Smart system, or both. Like and follow all of the Twitter, the Facebook, and Instagram. If you don't have those capabilities, that snow line right there is also, if you don't have them, yeah, I mean, you can call the DPS as well. Jen will answer the phone if there's a snow emergency. We're working. So this is just basically a guide for the parking bans. But if you want to talk to a human, just call us at the DPW. Help everybody, help your neighbors, and stay safe. Any questions? Yep. Yep. I mean, we could talk. Yeah, I could make it. I could make it public. Yeah. Yep. I can make it public. Yep. That's okay. Yep. Do you mean marking on your own property? Um, right. So typically for DPS, you wouldn't have to mark anything that's public. I mean, if you wanted to mark your own stuff, you can use snow markers. You can buy those at the Home Depot. They're like $1. You just put them in front of your mailbox, and they illuminate when you're driving by, kind of like a reflector. But that you wouldn't have to do anything as far as city-owned property that's maintained by us. $12. No, no, typically not. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, there's things happen, right? There's issues. So if there's a car or two that are in there, I mean, if we can get the majority of them out, nobody usually waits 12 hours. It's usually when the snow ban, they want to get to their vehicles because they have to go to work. No. Yep. No. So the parks themselves, the rail trail, would be cleared, but the city owned sidewalks are typically the ones that are maintained, are the ones that don't have homes in front of them. Yep.
First, but okay. The last question was just
If there's an issue with the sidewalk not being clear and the enforcement, there is the city ordinance and so forth, how is that enforcement done? Or if someone wants to notify?
Yep, so that's the city clerk,
Okay.
the parking clerk, I should say.
Mhm.
They're the ones that are in charge of the enforcement on the sidewalks.
Okay. Yeah, I've done that in the past, and basically nothing's been done about it, but
So
that is the process.
Yep, so, you know, I can't speak to that. What I can speak to is, like, DPS will not overstep their bounds. That's not our jurisdiction.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was the right way.
Yep.
Yep, thank you.
Anything else?
Anybody else?
Thanks. So yeah, I don't think you have the Kent Street lot on here, which I know is a big one for Ward 3. You might want to add that before you post this to the city website. Right, Cushing Park.
Okay. Yeah, good catch. Okay.
Thanks.
So there are a few that that are coming up right now, I guess. So we will do this slide, add the two, and then send it back to the mayor.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you, Jamie Tuccolo. Great job. I will say, coming in as a new mayor, I think we had a snowstorm about 4 days into the job. So I had to get up to speed very quickly, but I will say I was incredibly impressed on day one by the DPS's preparedness and just communication around snowstorms. And I think, you know, after going through just one snow season, I mean, it was really all positive feedback we got. And I don't think that's always been the case. So I think that's a credit to Jamie and his crew for the work they did last year. I mean, I came into the role wanting to bring more communication-wise, and I think we did do a great job, you know, making calls early, getting the word out there, and, you know, we plan to do the same thing this year. So, and I think what's great, and you did highlight on it, but, you know, the technology aspect to this with the snow app and the analytics that you're able to grab from it, you know, that's really next level thinking, right? We know where our vehicles are, we know how much fuel they're using, we know if they're idling, we know how fast they're going, we know exactly what time they hit your street. I mean, those are all data points that we can pull up immediately, and that's all monitored by Jamie, you know, throughout the course of a storm. So that was just one thing I wanted people to take away from this presentation, is that, you know, we're using the most, you know, the latest, greatest tools, and we're putting those tools to work, and we're getting a lot of data from that, and it's helping drive, you know, how we're attacking and preparing for these storms, you know, season to season. So that's it for me. So again, thank you, Jamie, to the DPS. Again, this will be up on the website. Thank you, NCM Hub, for recording this for us tonight. And again, if you have any questions, please, you know, take advantage of the tools and the resources, and reach out to DPS or the mayor's office, and we're happy to help you get ready for this snow season. And cut. And scene.